Let's go straight to the point, the new installment of how to answer hard behavioral questions during a Scrum Master interview. If you haven't watched the previous installments of this series, watch this video right here. This video will be from the point of view of an interviewer, so that you, as an interviewee, can get into their minds. First off, to set the context, I like using the STAR method when answering questions during an interview. In a nutshell, it allows you to tell a good story. And we all know that stories work during an interview. There's 4 components in the STAR method. First, situation. What's the situation? What's the scene? What's the context? Then you move on to the task. What was your specific responsibility? What are we trying to achieve here? What problems are we trying to fix? The third component is the action part. What steps did you take to address this issue, fix this problem, improve this situation, this process? And the last part is the result part. What was the outcome of all these things? And when you put all these together, you can tell a great story that is focused, a focused answer. Now, for each one of these interview questions, I will tell you exactly what the interviewer wants to hear. What are they expecting in your answer? Some keywords, the structure of your answer, and I will give you a good example using the STAR method. Question 1. Describe a situation where the team or a team member was resistant to a change you introduced. How did you handle it? What was the outcome? This question is all about dealing with resistance as an interviewer. I want to know if you can handle pushback, resistance. Can you turn this resistance into collaboration? How do you handle change management? What do you do when you need to convince, persuade people? Here's a good example. First, situation. Remember situation, setting the scene, the context. In my previous company, when we started using Jira, I noticed some resistance by some team members, especially senior team members. Second, task. What did I need to achieve? Well, I wanted to resolve this resistance, persuade them, influence them, take this resistance and turn it into collaboration so that they can use Jira, but do that without creating much conflict. The third component is the action part. What steps did you take to fix this situation? I wanted to know what were their concerns. I organized a workshop. I ensured that the team was psychologically safe first. I organized the workshop and asked them exactly, please tell me, each one of the team members, why do you feel that Jira is not the right suit for the team? What are your concerns about Jira? And I realized that it was all about learning curve. They believed that there was a steep learning curve. They believed that there were so many things to learn with Jira and that they don't currently have a capacity to give to learning Jira. The first thing I did is to ensure that they understood why we were using Jira in the first place, why Jira is being prioritized as a tool, why the company invested in this tool, what are we trying to achieve. I really want to ensure that they truly believe that Jira is the right path. Then I ensured that they got the required training and that they also talk with the product owner to ensure that the team can prioritize this implementation of Jira, but they are not working over capacity. Fourth component, the result. What was the outcome? The outcome was a success, a successful implementation of Jira, more collaboration between team members and proactively resolving issues, concerns related to Jira. A bonus tip here, as a Scrum Master, you can even mention in the interview, you already did the STAR method, you already told your story. Now, maybe you can mention that it's not your role as a Scrum Master to tell the team what to do, to tell the team to use Jira. Just send the message that you understand that the team should be self-managed, that you are here to make the team self-managed, not tell the team what to do. And maybe the team, if they feel that they shouldn't be using Jira, why do we need to force them to use Jira? Question number 2. Describe a time when there was a significant change in the organization or project requirements mid-sprint. How did you ensure the team adapted smoothly? As an interviewer here, I want to know how you handle these kinds of disruptions, distractions in the sprint. Priority, maybe stakeholder management. How do you facilitate this discussion about priority, about disruptions mid-sprint? What are the best practices for this situation? Here's a good answer to use. First situation, a few weeks back, I was working with a Scrum team and mid-sprint, we needed to adjust the sprint backlog because there was a regulatory change. Second, task. I needed to facilitate this discussion with the team. How do you handle this kind of situation without impacting our sprint backlog? Third action, the team decided that they wanted to refine this new user story. So I facilitated a refinement session for them. We refined the user story. We ensured that the user story was ready, and we added it to the sprint backlog, ensuring that other stories were removed from the sprint to not go over capacity in the sprint. All this ensuring that we also don't affect the sprint goal, because remember, the sprint goal can't be affected. The sprint backlog can change, and the result was a successful sprint. We were able to achieve the sprint goal and also complete this regulatory change. Question 3. Share a situation where trust was compromised within the team or between the team and stakeholders. How did you work to rebuild that trust? That's a tough question. All about trust. As an interviewer, I want to know if you understand the dynamic between the team and stakeholders. The importance of trust. How do you build trust and how do you rebuild trust? It's a tough question. First situation, a few weeks back, we had a failed sprint with a team that I support, the Scrum team that I support. We wanted to release something, a feature, but we couldn't do it. This feature would be delayed by an additional sprint. The stakeholders were not happy. Trust was affected between the team and the stakeholders. They demanded a lot of explanations. Why did we not achieve that? My task here as a Scrum Master was to ensure that the team was able to build this trust again with the stakeholders and ensure future collaboration. Action, I facilitated a bridge building session so that everyone could share their concerns, a sort of workshop so that everyone could share their concerns and work on an improvement plan to regain this trust and collaborate more together in the future. One of the concerns that was raised was that the user story was not ready and maybe the stakeholders needed to be more involved prior to the start of development. The estimation was also not right. The team explained to the stakeholders how estimations work. We are guessing. We can't predict the future in a complex environment. And we're trying to be as precise as possible with all the data that we have. But sometimes it goes wrong. But here's what we need to do to improve the situation in the future. We worked on an improvement plan together and the result was quite positive. We were able to complete all the features that we said we would do in the upcoming sprints. And collaboration is going pretty well with the stakeholders and the team. Question number 4. Describe a situation where the team wanted to bypass a Scrum ceremony, event, or artifact because we felt it was not adding value. How did you respond? Did you make any changes to the way the team practiced Scrum? That's a very common situation. I talked about that in this video. Team members not joining the daily Scrum or not participating in the daily Scrum or other Scrum events. As an interviewer here, I want to ensure that you understand what all the events do, why we need to come to all those events, why they are important, and what would you do in this situation. Use the Scrum guide, tell them to use this event, do the daily Scrums, or maybe do something that works with the team. I want to know here as a Scrum Master, how do you handle this situation? Use the Scrum guide as per the book. Force the team member to join the daily Scrum or participate in the daily Scrum or the Scrum event. Or maybe if a team decides that it's not for them this event, let them use something that works for them, even if it's not mentioned in the Scrum guide. How do you handle the situation? First situation, a few months back, I was working with a team that was not participating in the sprint retrospectives. Some members were not joining. Some members were not participating. Task as a Scrum Master, I wanted to understand the concerns and fix the situation. I wanted more participation, more collaboration. Next is action. I had a one-to-one session with all the team members that were not participating or joining the sprint retrospective. I wanted to understand their concerns and ensure that they understood why improvement is important. Continuous improvement is important and why this event, the sprint retrospective, is important. And then I organized a workshop with a whole team to ensure that we work on an improvement plan with future retrospectives look like. What kind of format would improve collaboration, engagement, make people want to join, make people see the value? And the result was every single sprint, full attendance in terms of sprint retrospectives. Everyone was participating, tons of actions and actions that were being implemented. Which brings me to my next point. If you want more tips insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.